Earthquakes strike without warning and turn solid ground into the problem itself. Most tremors pass with little notice. Then there are the rare ones that shatter cities, swallow roads, and redraw coastlines in minutes. Here are 5 moments, caught on camera, that show how quickly the planet can take control. Case 1. Indonesia, 2018. On the 28th of September 2018, a magnitude 7.5 quake hit central Sulawesi.
Alhamdulillah, karena di sini kami pernah makan minum.
Palu and Donggala took the full force. A local tsunami rose to about 1.5 meters and rushed inland, but the strangest and deadliest effect happened on land. Entire neighborhoods began to slide as water-saturated soils lost strength. Streets rippled, houses floated and rolled, and the ground moved like a slow river. The combined quake, landslides, and tsunami killed an estimated 4,340 people and affected millions more across the province. Case 2. Bohol, Philippines, 2013. On the 15th of October 2013, a magnitude 7.2 event ruptured a previously unmapped thrust system, now called the North Bohol Fault. The shallow break triggered widespread landslides, toppled historic churches, and damaged more than 70,000 structures across central Visayas. At least 222 people died, 976 were injured, and hundreds of thousands were displaced. Energy released equaled dozens of Hiroshima-sized bombs, and aftershocks rattled the region for weeks. 3 weeks later, Super Typhoon Haiyan complicated relief. Case 3. Haiti, 2010. At 16:53 local time on the 12th of January 2010, a magnitude 7.0 quake struck near Leogane, about 25 kilometers west of Port-au-Prince. Concrete frames failed, whole districts pancaked, and critical roads and hospitals collapsed at once. Estimates of lives lost vary widely, from around 100,000 to well over 200,000, with millions affected. About 250,000 homes and 30,000 commercial buildings were destroyed or severely damaged. Haiti's long struggle with poverty and fragile infrastructure turned a violent quake into the deadliest single-country natural disaster of the century. Aftershocks continued for months. Case 4. Trinidad, 2018. On the 21st of August 2018, Trinidad felt a magnitude 6.9 quake that shook for close to 2 minutes. More than 30 aftershocks followed through the next day, including a magnitude 6.0. Structural damage in Port of Spain largely matched what engineers would expect for the shaking level, yet buildings without proper oversight suffered noticeably more. In the south near Los Cerros, the ground deformed, farms and ponds were torn apart, and slopes slumped toward the coast. Many residents described fear and surprise. The relatively low damage created a risky illusion that the building stock was stronger than it is, without considering how geometry and depth differ from disasters like Haiti. Case 5. Alaska, 2018. Anchorage was rocked at 8:29 a.m. AKST on the 30th of November 2018 by a magnitude 7.1 intraslab event about 16 kilometers north of the city and 47 kilometers deep. A magnitude 5.7 aftershock followed 6 minutes later, and more than 170 aftershocks above magnitude 3.0 were logged in the first few days. Tsunami warnings for Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula were issued, then lifted shortly after. Highways split, overpasses cracked, and several buildings suffered severe damage. Remarkably, there were no deaths, though more than 100 people reported injuries, most of them minor. The mechanism involved normal faulting within the subducting Pacific plate as it bent downward beneath Alaska. These clips show the same lesson in different places. When the ground decides to move, there is nowhere to outrun it. Preparedness, good engineering, and clear communication do not stop the shaking. Yet they decide how many people walk away when it does.